Hi all. Right, back with more Labyrinth, the extended campaign, which includes the War on Terror and the Awakening expansion and Forever War expansion. But we're in just the first era right now. It's going to take some time. Okay, so I was looking at the events when I was playing them, and what I think I'll do is, whenever event, I may have said this already, but whenever an event is played, maybe have a glance at the events. Like I say, I don't think we're going to be able to do this in the second era because I don't think there was any descriptions of the events. Anyway, but I thought it might be interesting, although it's going to extend things even longer, like I've said. So, we forgot about the last card was that we played was the Door of Itijad. Itijad was closed, okay? So that was a beneficial card for the US, so here's the description here, and obviously there must be two of those cards, 47 and 94. Door of Itijad was closed. A museum saying, referring to the completion of, a museum saying referring to the completion hundreds of years ago of all interpretation of the Prophet's way, Sunnah. It symbolises a strong, though not universal, strain of fundamentalism in Sunni Islam. That sort of fundamentalism has two edges. It may lead extremists in tactically odd directions. It also may bar reform of Islamic government. Okay, so I guess that sort of explains how the card works a little bit. Because it's preventing them from playing any events for the rest of the turn. Well, any non-US events, but they don't play US events anyway, the bot, so I suppose that would actually, that would be even better in a two-player game, wouldn't it? Because the US events would still trigger from the play of the jihadist player, and none of other events would trigger. So yeah. But anyway, so we did that. So now where are we? Yeah, okay. So moving on to right. Hang on. Right, where was I? I got dragged away there. So just about to start the next phase. Like I say, I'm not really tracking the card things, am I? So yeah, we just had a turn, so it's over to the jihadist player. This is a lapsing event. I've just put it there. Maybe that's not the best place. Like I say, you're meant to have. Well, they're meant to go in here, but when using the Awakening, they're meant to have markers, but that's fine. I think we know what's happening. So they can't play any event. So let's see. Their first card is one of these oil price spikes. Oh well, that's good then, because it's not going to apply, is it? Can't play the event. So it says oil price spike, windfall for Muslim world. Let me just double check the card number 118, just in case I think it's worthwhile. Right, there is some information here then. So 117, 118. It says oil price spike. Draw highest ops jihadist associated. Select randomly among possibilities. If event would trigger US instant win, instead treat as unplayable. Well, it's not going to play it anyway. I probably should have read the card first. Because the door of each jihad was closed, it says select, reveal, and draw a card other than oil price spike from the discard pile or a box. So, or a box, does that mean it could pick this, which is in the lapsing box? What did it say there for the one? We know it's not going to happen, but draw highest ops jihadist associated. Okay, so it's going to look in the discard pile for the highest jihadist card, and then it would select randomly from among them. So it looks through the discard pile for all the threes, ideally, and randomly select one of them. And it says, if the event would trigger the US instant win, you would treat it as unplayable instead. And the way it could be an instant win is, I'm guess, what happens afterwards. It says, add +1 to the resources of each oil-producing country for the turn. Yeah, okay. So, if we look out there, a lot of these countries have got oil producing. This Iraq, Gulf States, Saudi Arabia, Sudan. So it's going to, like Saudi Arabia, for instance, is a 3 resource. With that, would then bump it up to 4. Is that right? Add +1 to the resources. Yeah, just for the turn, and it's a lapsing event itself, so it's lapsing as well for the turn. Yeah, so, and yeah, me getting around to just try to remember how we win the game. Just looking back, victory conditions using the Jihadist bot version 2. US cannot win. Right, how can we instantly win though? This isn't telling me. I'm missing something here. Right, give me a second. I'm still a little confused on the victory conditions, I think. Because this rules and reference clarification that I've got, I'm using bot 2. It just says the US cannot win by removing all cells from the map. Okay, fair enough. It doesn't tell me how the US can win. So, I suppose I'll go back to the and in the actual rules here for this one player. It says the same basically. They won't win because of the last cell getting removed, and it tells you what happens when the end. Well, is that the case then? Is all the other rules irrelevant? One player. So, how to win? Is this the only way to win then? Yeah, maybe I've been overthinking this. So, Islamist rule over 6 or more resources results in a jihadist win regardless of adjacency. So is that the only way the game can end before running through the 3 decks, I think? Because we've got a 3-deck game and it says if you've got fewer than 12 resources, we lose. Modifies 2.3, other conditions still apply. Modifies 2.3. Yeah, I kind of thought the other rules were in play. Yeah, I mean, 2.3 is talking about if you go to the end of the game, isn't it? So it modifies that slightly. I mean, do these not... Well, we know that it overrides the... this one, no jihadist cells. But do the other 2 conditions not still apply? I mean, I kind of thought they did. Right, okay. Well, maybe somebody can help me out with that one. I'm not quite sure where we're at with that. So, anyway, why did I start thinking about that? Oil price spike. Yeah, okay. So it was adding 1 to the resources of each oil producing country. which would... Yeah, I mean, if this was a good country, then we would get an extra +1 for the resources, I think. Yeah. I'm going to have to look into this a bit more, I think. Because it's clearly slightly different, I think, from the 2-player game. But, okay. Right, well, none of that's happening just yet anyway. So coming back to the oil price spike then card. Well, we know this says that jihadist action phases for this turn that are non-US, and this is unassociated. So this was quite good actually, because they would have played that and gained 3 reserve. Well, you can only gain 2 reserves, can you? So anyway, non-US events are not playable. So this can't be played. So it's going to use the ops. So basically we go to the flowchart and is it a playable non-US event? Is not as major jihad success at poor possible. Right, well, let's just glance at this, because we do have a cell here and this is poor. I think this probably means it is, isn't it? Major jihad. Yeah, I know. I'll gradually get around to working out these things. Major jihad to establish Islamist rule. Yeah, target non-Islamist rule Muslim country with 5 or more cells than troops. Yeah, okay, so it's only got 1 cell, so if it had 5 cells there, then yes. So no, it can't do that. No, it can't. It's not going to do a jihad either, is it? Right, so that's not possible. Is funding tight? No. Funding's still, ample? Is there a cell in a good or fair Muslim where jihad success possible? No. No. So poor Muslim with 1 to 4. Right, hold on then. So this is poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells than troops where jihad success possible. Right, Iraq might, because it's got 1 to 4 more cells than troops and militia. Also, militia don't come in until where jihad success possible, and under jihad success possible, it says this is true if the current awakening reaction marker count is such that in a future jihad roll there could succeed if the marker count did not change. Right, this awakening reaction marker is not. Is that why that's there? Am I missing something? Poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells where jihad success possible. Right, let's look at jihad success. Well, no, that needs to be a major jihad, doesn't it? Because it's poor. We can't worsen the governance anymore because it's poor. I think this is to do with the expansion and the fact that you've got modifiers. Is it? I think if I looked at the old photo, I don't want to start doing that though. Major jihad, a non-Islamic rule country with 5 or more cells and troops. Well, we'll definitely not got that. Okay, what am I missing here? Muslim countries, not Iran, containing cells and not under Islamic rule. Okay. The purpose is to worsen the governance, and remove aid. it can't worsen the governance any more than poor without doing a major jihad. And there's no aid to remove, so... Well, anyway, it does... it is a Muslim country that contains cells and not under Islamic rule. Special, so for each role in a target country, one cell there must go or already be active. This is a minor jihad unless target conditions below for major jihad are met. Each success worsen governance one level towards poor. Move one aid marker. Do not worsen to Islamic rule nor shift alignment. So it can't do any of that. Each failure move. Ah, dear. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do anything with that. It seems to be that it's like... Am I missing something? It's a poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells than troops and militia. But then it says where jihad success possible. I think it's got to do with these awakening markers. Jihad success possible. This is true if the current awakening reaction marker count is such that any future jihad roll there could succeed if the marker count did not change. If I was to roll on that, it's not going to do anything. Ah, damn. I'm kind of stuck there. I'm confused by that. Right, hang on. Right, I've been struggling a bit here. A bit confusing, I think. It was like, there was a question on this saying... kind of got replied as in it's to do, I think it's to do with the modifiers that won't kick in until you get awakening markers and what was that, reaction markers. But then this was highlighted too. This is in the awakening rules. 12.3.8, it says minor jihad. The jihadist bot never performs minor jihad in countries with poor governance. So I still can't grasp why that what if I've left over my computer. Hang on. Why that is there then? I mean, if it's poor Muslim, see, I think what it's saying here, I think what this is saying, that if it's poor Muslim and it's got 1 to 4 more cells than troops, and this is up for a major jihad, and the only way that can be a major jihad, right, hang on, major jihad, yeah, you see, you need 5 more cells and troops. So if it's not got 5 more cells and troops, how can it be a major jihad? Right, okay. Somebody explain that one to me. There is a couple of threads there on BGG a bit confused about it as well. It's not just me. So maybe if somebody can explain. I mean, we look back here about a major jihad success at poor possible, and it was no because it's not troops. So why does it now become possible here? I know. Yeah. If somebody can make that a bit clearer to me, then we're going to say no to that then, right? Okay. So funding moderate, no. Is there a cell available? Yes. We're going to recruit. Okay. So again, recruit any countries with cells or cadres. Right, so we can recruit in Afghanistan or Iraq this time now. Yeah, we wanted to know that. Right, hang on. What the cards are 3. So does that mean we can recruit 3? Each jihad card play for operations can be used for one of the following. Yeah, so we roll 3 dice to try and recruit 3 cells. Is that right? Right, hang on. Yeah, so the operations is 3. So we're going to roll 3 dice to recruit 3. Yeah, and here's the thing, yeah. This is what I need to work out. Well, first of all, let's look at the priorities. So recruit. Poor moves on my 1 in 4 more cells than... Well, this is exactly what that was. So... I've got to say that that's not the case then, because we would have done... This would have been a yes, wouldn't it? Again, I've got to think that this is something to do with, because it does talk about it down there that this is true if the current awakening reaction marker count is such that in a future jihad roll. I think it's to do with awakening reaction markers. Which is a little bit of a shame that's not... Well, could it be that it's explained in the... Well, I did read that bit already in the... Oh, hang on. Yeah, I'm still kind of stumped by that. I mean, it does say minor jihad. The jihadist bot never performs minor jihad in countries with poor governance. So, this whole poor Muslim with 1 in 4 more cells than troops in militia, where jihadist success possible, must be meaning a major jihad. Because it says it never performs it. Okay. Right, okay, I'm just going to move on because we're not getting very far here. If recruit, that's what we're doing, isn't it? Yeah. Auto recruit with best jihad dice roll modifier. So, Afghanistan, Islamic rules are auto recruit. However, it wants to avoid that if it can, isn't it? The first priority is non-Islamic rule. But can it, if it done it in Iraq though, that's not going to be automatic, is it? So I think that's a problem, isn't it? Pakistan, no. Besieged regime. I mean, Iraq's just a poor adversary. So, besieged regime, Syria, Iran. Iran. Why is Iran twice? Oh, Iran, unless no arsenal. And Iran, unless no arsenal. Why is there 2 of them? Oh, hang on. That's got the little... Is that... that's for the Forever War. That's why this chart's been updated, yeah. So if it's the Forever War, it'll do it there. However, if it's not Awakening, it'll do it there. Right, okay. Syria, US, poor then fair then good. Oh, that Iraq's poor then. But coming back here, it says if recruit, auto recruit with best jihad diaro modifier. And if we go to Iraq, well, hang on. Why are you saying that's not auto? I don't know. I don't think it is. Recruit. If regime change, automatic success. Oh, that's not regime change. It's Islamic rule. Did I not read that Islamic rule was automatic though? Have I made a mistake there and read that wrong? Recruit roles in a regime change countries automatically succeed. Have I done that there? Because that's not Islamist rule. I thought I'd read that. It's possible I've read that wrong and misinterpreted that for regime change. Right, let me look back on that video then. Because that would have been the last part when I first done that. When I first placed the cells in Afghanistan. That was a mistake then. So, hang on. Right, okay, I'm sure I was... I had read... No, hang on. Recruit roles in regime change countries automatically succeed. Was it? I don't know what was going there. I watched back in the video footage, and the reason the two cells got recruited in Afghanistan was that was the only place there were cells. Okay. Right, let's just get back to where we're at. What are we doing, Grant? We're doing a recruit action, and we're needing to decide if it's Afghanistan or Iraq. And I'm still a little bit unsure if they would all just target the one or the other. So, yeah, I think we come back to this. Yeah, so if recruit, auto recruit with best jihad DRM. So I don't think any of them are auto recruit. Auto recruit is a regime change country. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just a regime change. I don't know if I've read that wrong. So there's no regime change. So good Muslim, right, it's not good. Fair Muslim, the best. Remember, we're talking about between Afghanistan. Let me get in here a bit more. That thing is, if I want to look at the chart, well, that's a problem. Afghanistan's Islamic rule, Iraq's poor. So, good Muslim, no. Fair Muslim with best jihadist DRM. And then non-Muslim, it's none of that. And then poor Muslim with best jihad DRM. Okay. There's... Oh, God. I think the DRM part of it comes in it when you've got, like I say, awakening markers and reaction markers, isn't it? Look at the chart, and we're going to do a recruit. No, we're going to do a jihad. Hang on, where does it tell you about? Jihad. See, there's no talk of Jihad DRMs here, is there? Now, when awakening marker, sorry, not so much awakening markers, well, they can affect it too. I think that's where it's coming to it. So awakening markers put a +1 to the die, and reaction markers put a -1. Awakening's better for the US, reaction's better for the jihadists. They want to roll war. Yeah, I don't think this. I think that's what that's meaning. So I don't think we can find anywhere that breaking down this, right? So I think we then have to look at the priorities. So non-Islamic rule, well, there you go. It's not going to be there. It's going to be Iraq. Not Islamic rule. So it's going to be Iraq. Okay, so I've got 3 ops. So do all 3 try and go there? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with this they do, yeah. So 3 shots at trying to recruit in Iraq, and it's poor, so that means that 3 dice and 3 or less is going to result in a success. Right, let's just go with Grant. You're yeah, so I'm running out of the night now. Right, so 3 dice, 3 attempts. Yeah, because there's 3 cells available. If there hadn't been 3 cells available, let's just say there'd only been 2 available for some reason. We would roll 2, and we would save that 1 point, and we would use it for radicalization, I think. Yeah, I think that's how we would go. Right, so let's roll 3. So 1 to 3 is they're wanting. Oh, jings. Look at that. 3 6s. So all fail. Well, that was good for us. Yeah, so no recruit. That's it. That's them. They're done. Used up all the 3 ops. Didn't succeed in any of the recruits. Okay, move on to the second card. Right, let's get moving, Grant. Right, so second card for them is Tony Blair. And that's kind of good because this is a US event. And remember, the door of Jihad was closed. So Tony Blair's not going to... oh, no, they wouldn't do that, would they? No, that's bad, actually. It's only their cards, isn't it? Sorry. Right, so they wouldn't be trying to do this anyway. It says there, I think the previous flowchart had said is it a playable non-US event, a playable US event. That's right, because if it was a playable US event in the past, they would plot. That's all they would do. And it seemed a bit samey. Although plots aren't nice for us, don't get me wrong. But it seemed a bit samey. I don't know. Set United Kingdom's posture to that of the US. Roll war ideas in up to 3 Schengen countries. That sounds pretty good, actually. But anyway, so is it a playable non-US event? No. Is major jihad success at poor possible? No. I'm going to skip on by here. Funding tight? No. Selling good or fair Muslim where jihad success possible? Nothing's changed, so no. We're going to say this is a no and be a little bit confused about it still. Funding moderate? No. Is there cells available? Yes. So again, it's going to do recruit. This time for 2 ops. Well, we've been through the check. Nothing's changed here. So it's going to try and recruit in Iraq again. This time with just 2 dice. It's still at poor. So 1, 2, or 3 is going to be a success. 2 dice. Right, so this time they get one and they're missing another one. So they're getting something this time. So we're going to grab one cell and put it in a rack. And that's going to be that. Okay. That's their 2 cards played for this phase. They can be discarded. And none of the events were played. No. They're not going to play any events the rest of the turn because of that. So, okay, so right over to us then. So we said what is that? That's wrong. This is not playable. Is that right? Play if any cells in a regime change country. No, yeah, then we're going to, and this is not playable, and well, this is not playable. We might want to try and keep hold of that. Maybe I don't know. So I want to say one of the videos I watched, this happened. Somalia became under Islamic rule, and remember, Somalia's got a Basij regime marker in it, which makes it easier to become that. I mean, it's not got any cells there just as of yet, but this would bring it out of Islamic rule, you know, in an easy way of doing it. But so right, so we're going to play 2 cards, Grant. Remove a cell from Muslim country, not Iran. Well, Iraq's just put an extra cell in. I think even when you remove a cell, it still leaves a cadre behind, doesn't it? I think that the wording on that would still leave a cadre. I mean, I'm just thinking if we only had that 1 cell in Iraq right now, I think even that card saying remove a cell would still place a cadre. Let's see if I can find cadre 4.8.4. Whenever the last cell in a country without a cadre is removed by disrupt or event, not jihad or travel, place a cadre there. So I'm glad I read that actually. So either if we were to disrupt that, and to disrupt it would have to be active, disrupt it, remove it, cadre gets placed, or an event, this event says remove a cell from a Muslim country, whether it was, that would not require it to be active, to be honest. Remove that, then a cadre still gets placed. Yeah. But there's 2 cells there anyway, so. And remember, we've got 1 reserve as well, so we show ourselves there. Yeah, I mean, we don't. Thing is, the problem is, I'm talking about keeping Ethiopia strikes here, but we've got opium here. Play if Afghanistan has a cell, place 3 more cells there. Then, if at Islamic rule, place all available cells there. Well, I suppose we can avoid that side of it. Okay. Let's just do the regime change, I think. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do this regime change and then maybe try and get rid of the cells at Afghanistan. There's 6 of them, so. Thing is, they all go active when we do the regime change, so it might be that I can maybe do it. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to play. Well, I'm going to put the card here as well. Hopefully that's not going to confuse me a bit. If I put the cards that are getting played here, I need to play 2 of them. Right, so I'm going to play Abu Ghraib. And I'm only going to read out the event here and look at the event if it's played. So it's not going to play. So I'm playing Abu Ghraib. Now, it would trigger the event, so I'm going to select to play the event first. And the event says, play if any cells are in a regime change country. There's not any cells in a regime change country. So we ignore the event, and I'm going to use it 3 ops to do a regime change. Right, so purpose overthrow, Islamic rule, create ally, target Islamic rule country. US must be hard, use 3 ops. Right, so the US is hard. I'm going to use 3 ops. And what we're going to do is deploy 6 troops, 6 plus troops. Okay. Right, we're just going to go for 6. All cells to active, shift to ally, roll governance, place green regime change marker, roll for prestige. Okay, so what was the first thing? Deploy 6 plus troops. Right, so I'm gonna deploy 6 troops. Does that mean that marker goes down? I think it maybe does. Right, 5, 6. So 6 troops in Afghanistan. I think this drops down to war now. I think it needs to drop down to the... hang on. Right, yeah, so page 4 talks about the troops track. Place any troops not in countries onto the troops track. 5 cubes per box, filling boxes from right towards the left. Whenever troops deploy from the track to countries, draw cubes from the left towards the right. Place and move the troops marker into the rightmost box with fewer than 5 troop cubes. Yeah, so it does, doesn't it? The rightmost box with fewer than 5. So it goes into war. Because it can't go into there, because that's got 5. Yeah, okay. So it means we're going to only draw 8 cards this time. But, yeah. Right, back to the regime change. So we'll put the troops in. All cells to active. So all the cells go active. Let me just pause. Right, so all cells active. Right, so no, that's fine. Right, so we roll governance now. So when you roll governance, where's that? So it's basically a reset thing. Where are we? Here. Right, so roll governance, which the purpose of this is to find the quality of a Muslim country's governance. Initial test after regime change operation or by event. So yeah, if it wasn't tested at all, we're going to see that some of the countries, once they get targeted, will do initial test. However, this is after regime change. We're going to do it. It's not by event. So a 1 to 4 is going to be poor. 2 is going to be fair. And it's neutral if test, ally if regime change. So it's going to be ally for us. But normally if it was just a test, it'd be neutral. So 1 to 4 is poor. So ideally we want a 5 or 6. Right. Okay, 5, good. Bit clunky, but yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, so fair. We want a fair marker. Where are we? Right, so it's fair ally, isn't it? So fair ally for Afghanistan, that's coming away. Right, so let's just sort the track out here, because this is the first change. I'm saying it's the first change, is it? Yeah, this is one of the things I'm a bit poor at, I think. 1, 2, 3. There was 3 poor and Islamic rule. There's only 3 poor now. And before there was 3 fair. And that was it. So now we've got 4 fair. Yeah, okay. So There's only 3 poor, and if you do this right away, it's easier. So 3 poor is going to go to here, and then there's going to be 4 fair because we've made that come back with that fair. And hang on, Islamic resources as well. We're at 1 because Afghanistan's a 1, and that was Islamic rule, so they're going to drop down to 0, aren't they? So that's going to be like that, I think. If I've got that right. Okay, might be right, might be wrong. We'll see. I'm going to carefully watch back on all this and find my mistakes, hopefully. Okay, so we're not finished yet. What were we? That was governance, right? Okay, I've done that. That worked out well. So shift to ally. Yeah, also, yeah, so fair ally, role governance, right? Okay, place green regime change marker. Right, so, and so this goes on here, and I think you might put on top of the troops. And the reason it's green is to do with the end of turn, like right at the last minute, game changing, I think. I'm not awfully sure, like, because I've not played it that much. I want to say I'll flip over. It's other size, sort of beige, brown, tan, whatever you want to call it. But it does come in like that to start with. Okay. So it's now a regime change country, and remember that card says play if any cells are in a regime change country. So it's always going to have an effect. It means that they're not happy about that and they want to do something about it. Anyway, not quite finished. So place green regime change marker, and now we roll for prestige, right? Okay, so this could be good, it could be bad. If I recall, so we're rolling for prestige down here. So the purpose is to randomly drop or raise US prestige. And we're hoping that we're going to raise it, but we don't have a choice here because what we're doing, it's having to have a role in this. So, and it says when after regime change, which is what we've done, or a withdraw, unblock pot in the United States or by event, right? So procedure, roll a die, modify the die roll by -1 if global war on terror relations penalty is more than 0. Right, so the penalty is not, penalty, we're hard, the world's hard, all good. Like if the world had been there's a -1 to this roll, which is bad. That would be a -2, that would be a -3, and that would sort of be like that. But so it's all good now. There's not any modifiers, but we still need a 5 or a 6 for it to go up. So we're up against it. Hang on, modify die roll -1 if global terror penalty is more than 0. Right, did I not think there was some... No, I must be thinking of something else. Right, so we're going to roll 1 dice. A 1 to 4 is going to drop it. And then if it drops or rises, we then roll 2 dice and we shift it by the lowest die result of the 2 dice. Right, so it's... Yeah, we want a 5 or a 6 yet again. So use the tan dice. 5 or a 6. Right, it's not. So we're now going to... It's going to drop. So we're going to roll 2 dice. And we're going to take the lowest number here. And that's the amount it's going to drop by. So we want these to be low. Right, so it's only going to drop by 2. So that could have been worse. Right. That's still bad, but... Right, so prestige drops by 2. We're still in the medium anyway, so we've not dropped into the -1 low area war ideas, which would be really bad. Okay, so yeah, wasn't perfect, but yeah, that's the downsides to doing what we've done. Okay, so that's our action there. That was our first card. Abu Ghraib, right, okay. So now there is a regime change country, but we got rid of that other card. So, just looking down, we've got one more card to play. That's still never going to be playable, and neither's that. Move a cell. Yeah, what did I want to do? Try and get rid of some of the... Yeah, let's try and disrupt. Because we've got troops there as well, and I think that helps with the disrupt. Disrupt. And I'm talking Afghanistan. See if we can get rid of them in Afghanistan and then make that opium card. I mean, it's a bit much to ask, I suppose, but... So, disrupt. Remove cells of cadre and gain... Oh, yeah, and gain prestige, which is good. And you only gain prestige if there's troops there, I want to say. Non-Muslim country, ally or country with at least 2 troops. Alright, we can only do this if there's troops there. Is that right? With at least 2 troops. Affect 1 cell of target country's posture is hard. Affect 2 cells if plus 2 troops. Affect 2 cells and add 1 prestige. After cells go active, already active, or removed. No cells removed, cadre. Okay. Affect 1 cell if target country's posture is hard. Affect 2 cells. If 2 plus troops, affect 2 cells and add 1 prestige. Yeah, it's that last bit that we're going to get. So, yeah, it does depend. I think 2 cells, 1. Remove cells, gain prestige. Removed. Okay. So, yeah, and we need to pay... Oh, yeah, and it's only going to be cost us 2 as well, because the country is fair. Is that right? Yeah, and we can use reserves. So, okay, hang on here. Yeah, but wouldn't you like to use it? Well, I've not got a 3. Oh, well, hold on. Yeah, I mean, I could remove 3 cells here, couldn't I? Hang on a sec. Yeah, okay, it's not. It's only affects 2 cells. Yeah, I've got to be careful. I'm just looking at the rules here. It said on page 9, a disrupt operation requires a target country that has at least 1 cell or cadre in it, and as an ally, I mean, this is an ally. However, there's other conditions that allow it, or has at least 2 troops in it. Well, we've got 6 troops. Or is a non-Muslim, not Iran. So, yeah. So you've got to watch these things, eh? And then it carries on. A disrupt operation in a country with at least 2 troops or whose posture is hard affects 2 cells selected by the US side. Otherwise, it affects 1 US selected cell. And then, if a disrupt operation occurs in a country with at least 2 troops, raise prestige by 1, even if it only shifted cells to active or removed a cadre. Okay, so basically I need to do this for a value of 2. So spending... yeah, that's annoying. Well, you could leave your reserve still and just play... Test Lebanon, shift Syria to adversary. That's not good. Ethiopia strikes. Okay, I think I'm going to use... yeah. Well, I could just use Adam Gadan here and use my reserve, to be honest. Because I only need 2 ops points to do this. And I don't want to... I want to try and do it again next turn, maybe. I mean, to be honest, if I can do this 3 times, then there's no cells left, and that opium card's going to be good. Yeah. And that Adam Gadan card's not going to do me any good anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to play this as my second action. So it says play a first card of Jihadist action phase and a cell is available. That's not the first card of the Jihadist action phase right now. Okay, so I'm just going to use this for one ops. I'm not playing the event. And I'm then also going to grab my reserve, taking it down to 0. So that's 2 ops, which is what I need to target Afghanistan because it's fair. And I'm going to disrupt in Afghanistan. There's at least 2 troops. So I'm going to remove 2 cells. They're all active, so these 2 are going to go back to the track. And because I had troops there, I'm going to gain a prestige. Up to 5. Which gives me a little bit breathing space because it was on the border of going down to low there as well, so... Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So we've only got 4 cards left. Now, do we have the possibility to do what I'm saying there? I need to disrupt again twice next turn. Okay, so I could disrupt with that. I would have to play that. Is that right? So disrupt. Then there's no cells left in Afghanistan, which means that this becomes unplayable. The thing is, this is going to trigger. It's not the worst, I don't think. Either that or I just give up on this card and I go disrupt. However, no, and discard this card. No, yeah, that could disrupt. Play this card for ops. This doesn't trigger. Discard this card. I could do that. Well, that's to be thought about, I suppose. Right. Yeah, I better call it there. Right, so these 2 cards were the 2 US cards. They are just discarded. Go to the discard pile. Move that up a little bit more. Don't really need the deck of cards. And that's still there. So we're going to come back to... Yeah, it's probably best if I can leave things with a jihadist phase to start with rather than messing about with these up the top. I suppose if I got caught out and... No, you know what? Just look back in the video footage, Grant, and see where you're at, I think. Probably best. Right, okay. Well, that's us got started anyway. I know 3 hours went by there and not very much happened. But yeah, that felt pretty good. I've been looking forward to it. Oh yeah, I will need to remember Mali and Nigeria, the fact they're in play. I mean, Nigeria is not a Muslim country, Mali is. There's nothing. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think I would have. Just normally in the base game they wouldn't be there, but hopefully I'm getting that right. Okay. Right, so I'm going to hopefully come back tomorrow and get right into this a bit more and create another few parts. I'd like to just... probably best just chucking the first part out there just to show you what I'm doing and just in case anybody's got any comments. But yeah, I mean, best of all would be to show some of the gameplay that I can be told, Grant, you're getting that totally wrong. I mean, strategy wise, I don't care if I'm getting strategy wrong. I'm probably going to do that anyway, but obviously, rules-wise, I want to be told, and I'd rather not be told and rather catch it myself and rather not make the mistake even, but it does happen. Right, I'll get away for now and I'll be back tomorrow in the next part. Okay, cheers.